Today is day 54 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming day or week or more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, please contact me directly. Today we are doing Siman Lamed Beis, Hamin Lamed Beis, Sif Lamed Hey to Mem Aleph. And it's a kind of new topic before I tell you about reading the letters when they're somewhat ruined. This is, well, it's not a new topic, but it's like a different pathway. In Nofla Tipas Yolatocha Os Bekilgalos, if a drop of ink fell into the letter and ruined the letter, Ben Shnova Basic Ksiva, whether it fell during the writing, or Ben Shnova Achar Ksiva, or whether it fell after the writing, Ben Shekil Kulu, Ben Shekil Kulu Shnev Lemeno Tmunasa Os, whether it ruined it by causing a loss of the form of the letter, Ben Shaidea Tipa, or whether that by the drop near it goes Acher looks like another letter. Tipa Betoch Os Dalit V'nid Melahei. A drop of ink fell into a dalit and now it looks like a hay. A drop of ink fell into the interruption between the left leg of the hay and the upper roof. V'nid Melaches. Now it looks like a ches. Chen Kol Ka'etzim is all similar cases. Nifsal Os, the Os is puzzle. Even if the drop just eliminates the short leg of the yud, puzzle. But if it caused the tagin missing, it's not a problem. But Somchin al Rambam, and we learn in the Rambam that the tagin are not tagin makmin. Tagin are not impediment to the kash to the Turkim, which causes sifid dal. And so to the other thorns, the other chukchiks of the letters, and Matipa of the drop of ink found them leislam ba. Doesn't matter. Came to Guvos kind because the letter itself is intact. If you're not sure if the form of the letter has been distorted or not, if it's like another letter, we line a child who's neither smart nor stupid, like we said before. And as he says, so it shall be. There shows no difference between ink and coloring. The gam coming seven shenafal, any type of coloring shenafal, which falls postal in kikos, it means if they're bustle, if it makes the letter ruined. Levad shava, except for ink, except for wax. Shenofalos ain't no postal. If it fell on the wax, it doesn't postle it. A wax found letter doesn't postle. Duki kisui bam is just like a covering. Now it doesn't change the quality nature of the letter. Gora kosher, and you remove it where and it's kosher. For the mutar gora b'Shabbos, he's part of siman shin mem shasur. You're going to be learning siman shin mem that it's also to remove that wax on Shabbos. The guy be iser skila in terms of the iser skila of Shabbos. Chashik mechika. This is considered to be like erasing. You come nevertheless in Kriya Sefer Torah Shir came with Shabbos. If this happened when reading the Sefer Torah in Shabbos, you can read crossbar. You can read the Sefer Torah. The next kikisibam was just like a covering. But ink and color, even though they are still moist, letter is dry. Nevertheless, it's not called a covering. It's to spill and they got ruined. How it's like the letter got rubbed out, got erased. It requires a fixing. Kamoshi's bar. Before it's fixed, puzzle and amre. It's completely puzzle. And therefore, if the ink or dye fell on the letter and ruined it. Many letters are written after this one. Nifsalu, they're all possible. Tikun, because it's so considered unless and can shame benehem is new concept which Arukh HaShulchan has not introduced previously, that you can make some consideration if there's no Shem Hashem you're not allowed to erase. If there's a Shem Hashem which already been written after the psuls, so then that's it, you finish, because you can't erase it. But if there's no Shem Hashem and among the letters are written after the psul, so you can erase all those letters, go back and fix the bad letter, and then continue on, and it's going to be Kesidron. The Mishnah Berurah says here, if the form of the letter does not change, You can erase the ink spot. There's no chiluk if the ink fell into the vacant space of the letter, or it fell on the letter itself and thickened its roof or its leg. According to strict letter of law, it says that Mishnah Berurah, you don't even need to fix it. So just better to fix. Bialacha writes, if the letter falls, if the if it falls, the ink falls and connects two letters together, so then you have to remove the drop of ink in the place where they touch, if that, because otherwise, obviously, it's not going to be mukaf gvil, it's not surrounded by parchment. Bialoch writes, if you find wax on a letter on Shabbos, if you see a letter from underneath the wax and you can read it, it's kosher. But if it's covered and you can't see it through the wax, if that happens when gavra gavra, by B'shin Aliyos, you should take out another Sefer Torah. If it happens middle kriya, you should read that which is covered ba'al peh, and then continue on to finish the in that Sefer Torah, the people who are supposed to be called the number of aliyahs which are requisite for the day. Evidently, that's that type of. I never saw that before. That if it's b'diavad in that situation, even though it's b'diavad, you don't take another Sefer Torah. I guess because it's too big to be zoyan to stop in the middle. And since it's not too big zoyan to stop in the middle, where it's not absolutely possible. So therefore, once you came to itche, once you started reading, you continue reading. I'm not sure he's going to get this, but when I first took my tefillin to be checked after 7 years of my bar mitzvah, and it's a big issue whether one has to take tefillin to be checked at all. But I took my tefillin to be checked, and the Sefer said that when he opened it up, he found that some glue had fallen on one of the letters. And he took off the glue because it's not a problem with shlokasidron, like wax over here. But I asked him if I was yotz in the mitzvah of tefillin for those 7 years, and he didn't want to answer me. So the fact he didn't want to answer me can be construed to mean that I wasn't yotze, but it's probably that I was yotze in some b'diavad way, despite the fact that the glue was there. So even if he said I have beautiful parashas, even if you have beautiful parashas, if the person's careless in gluing the batim together, it comes the problem. Lamed vav, ketzas hakanasa. Okay, so how do you take away the ink, fix the ink spot? It doesn't work to scrape away the ink. But where it fell, or the letters come back to where it was. Chaktuchos means the letters made on its own. It's not written. The best example of chaktuchos is a coin, which is minted. The figure of, say, Lincoln on the penny is not made by engraving the figure of Lincoln. It's made by depressing the metal all around that with the stamp, and then the figure of Lincoln is left there after you depressed all the other metal. So therefore, that's considered to be chaktuchos. You're engraving it, and it comes up in the middle, as opposed to actually making the letter itself. So here too, if you scrape away ink from the side of a letter, you're not writing the letter. The letter's emerging on its own from your shaping the sides of the letter. Meaning, it says you should write it and not engrave it. Engrave is called when you chip around the letter. The os needs have a mimel, and the letter comes out on its own. And here in this case with the ink is the spot. When you ruin the letter, by the time it's talking, they grass at yo, now you fix it by removing the ink from surrounding the letter. Have a chaktuchos. Apostle min Torah. It's the psul daraisa. El yigor kolos legamri. You got to erase the entire letter. The yaksa b'yichtavenu, and go back and write it afterwards. Go write it again. So Okay, so it came in Saide Tipak Osa Cheres. So too it became by the drop of ink like another letter, such as it extended the leg of the hay through its roof. Because you can't remove the ink because it's chaktuchos, the same problem. You have to move the entire leg and write over again. Base pay. Same thing. It became we have now dropping in the middle of the base became a pay. It doesn't work to remove just the drop. You got to remove the entire roof with the drop. And make a gag that way. No tipo shasta mean dalid hay. If it's drop made a dalid into a hay near to mahani creators atipa, it would seem that you can just remove the part of it. Shareva medicine because it stands on its own below kilkul as a dalid and then rule dalid shishig so the hay. She said change it to hay. Now you move it from it. Vadalit kimi kodem. As it was previously. I'm bezeh. Well, Dina Nira Kamosha Kasafti. That with the hay you can just remove the little leg. The Mishnah Brewer though says if you wrote a hay instead of a dalit, you can't just remove the extra leg and make it a dalit. You have to also remove a little bit of the roof, so it becomes like a vav, or to remove the leg until it doesn't have the form of a dalit anymore, and then afterwards fix it. I don't understand how one can do this in tefillin though. Only by Sefer Torah, yes, but if you have to erase an entire letter and then rewrite it, it's Shiloh Kasidron. So this might work by a Sefer Torah, but not by tefillin mezuzos. Lamed Zayin. You were supposed to write a letter and a drop of ink spilled, but stuck in the kantios and made like a half a letter there. You shouldn't complete the letter using the drop, and then succeed, but that's not writing. Rather, you should erase it. To mean a kol the whole drop writing has to be not by dropping, but by writing. This brings the whole issue, the separate issue of silk screen sifrei Torah. If silk screen sifrei Torah considered to be writing or just dropping ink, the silk screen sifrei Torah considered to be writing or chaktuchos. So obviously Rabbi Abadi, who's the main machshir of silk screen sifrei Torah, holds it's not chaktuchos and it's writing. But so one could differ them about that, but it's not so simple either way. Even though by get some people say that's good enough, lo dam it's not the same. The beget ain't tzar kedusha rak lishma. By get you don't need holiness, you only need lishma. But you can betar of a get, and the main part that's lishma is the end of the get. The minatorah, midaraisa, that's the part of lishma. Therefore it's not concerned for us. The kol os miktsas os in every letter, and even a chelik from a letter. So kedusha need to have holiness. If it's missing part of the letter, it's possible altogether. And here it's missing the kedusha part of the os. Shitam chayagam the possible. The miktsas is obviously in this case it's possible. The miktsas ozeh lo nichtav. Part of this letter was not written. Was pshita shem kedusha, as it wasn't written. It was dropped. It doesn't have kedusha. And he says in brackets that the can't leave it. Tzarchin ane magen avram. Mishnah Berurah says that the Mechaber Ramah Be'emin Ezer are Mako, by get. It's not called Chok Tuchos unless you complete the letter through that indirect way. But the Achorim are Machmir in this halacha. If not, that you draw, you put your pen into the, remember there were stick pens, quills, whatever. Unless you put the your pen nib into the moist ink and move it from place to place. So that you can make an Osholim, and that's like writing. Okay. Arukh HaShulchan evidently not hold that heter. Okay, Lamed Ches. V'chenim tov v'kasav daled mokum reish. Obeys the mokum kaf. Ein hakolim chok atag. L'takin os. You can't just remove that little extension, which goes tag. to fix the letter should be equal, that it should be rounded. There's a chaktuchos. That's also a chaktuchos problem. El Yosef Dior Tag the Yaseno go, but rather you should add ink to that extension, which should not be there, and make it rounded. This is mamish. That's literally writing. The opposite is true as well. You can't just chip away at the rounded edge and make their little extension. That's chaktuchos problem. El Yosef Dior Eagle, where you should add ink to the rounded part, and make it like an extension. Similarly in other letters. Oh, here it is. Question of what I just brought up before. That's if you didn't write any letters yet afterwards. If you wrote letters subsequent to that, letters came also. There's nothing which can fix it. It's not in order. Unless you erase them. Unless, again, you can't do it. There's a name in the subsequently written letters. This is all from the Taz. The Da. The problem is called you can't just redo it by putting by inking the letter again. It's ksav ksav doesn't work. You have to erase the letter and put it in over again. Lamites mem psucha bak psichasav nistam. If you had an open mem but it got closed up and it got stopped up by a smear or a spot. You can't. It's not good enough to remove the connection and open up. That's also a chaktuchos. It's not doing something in the body of the letter which he makes. Not like the opinion which holds that that's not chaktuchos. Because it's like two letters which are connected. The mahanik rear benem, where you can split the two of them each from each other. Then okay, it's not like that. The sof os echadun. Final analysis, it's one letter. Gam ain't certainly grow kol amem, but you also don't have to move the entire mem. Come on, mishi yesh sober kain, like some people held away, and then the maram shaka and radach. Ela shedai ligor hachaltom shel amem. It's enough to take off the trunk of the mem. The hainu avav shel amem ligor kula. It's the above of the mem to remove it altogether. V'amem ukamurkam nun pshuta kfufa in vav. Because a mem is like a simple nun with an inverted vav. L'chein came in that nun nichta b'achshus. This nun is written properly. Yishor ha'makaymo. You can stay in its place. V'avav yigroi, take away the inverted vav. Yichtov vav acher, you write another vav. V'afil nista ma'achar k'tivasok ksivas kulo. And even it came blocked up after it's entirely written. You can't array gamma vav nase b'achsher. And therefore the vav should also be considered to be kosher. Nevertheless, you have to do something to the letter itself, so it wouldn't be chaktuchos. So what you have to do suffices to erase and rewrite the above. I'll say rak b'mem, but it's only in a mem neshas yosef shnei ksivos, nun v'vav kosh kosavnu, because it's made up of two letters, nun and vav. Avol reisha, so come in dalit. He made a reisha like a dalit goro, and come to remove the ink. Goro kulo, you got to remove all the ink. It's not good enough to remove the roof or the leg. The came called os nasek achas, because this utility was made as one at once, because no separate. It's not composed of separate letters. It's all made in a puzzle way. That's to remove both of them. And similarly by other letters. And remove them mean the entire letter. Yerech and the Gag. So he wrote a rosh properly. And then he made a mistake and put a tag on it, the extension. So you have to remove the head with the extension. Or Yerech imatag, or the leg with the extension. Since originally was done kosher, so you don't have to erase the full letter. The doim el mem. In this respect, it's like a mem. That's my Abraham Yesh Machmiri Gam Bezeh Machmir Tavla Bracha. Some people Machmir, this is made to be blessed. I believe I think how much goes out of the primary locals like we wrote. The Mishnah Brura writes, that the Taras holds that only if it's stopped up if it's only stopped up after you finish writing it does scratching not work. But if it's stopped up before you finish writing, you can remove the stop up, the excess ink, because since you still have to add since you still have to add the extra part of the pay, which is he calls it like a yud, therefore you scrape away before you add the before you add the extra inverted yud, and then finish writing. And the Razach says even this will be machmer to remove the whole letter. Bialacha says if it got connected after you wrote, you don't necessarily have to remove the trunk, but you can remove from the nun enough to be mevatel it from any looking like any other letter. Okay, so the class about erasing half of the karatom, but it's not for us. Okay. We are mem. Became which is bar the mem should mignesh eosios upon machas, and so goro kulos. It's not made all at one time. You don't have to remove the entire mem. L'chem pshita barakle hay v'akuf shenogu bagag. So if it's partial with the legs of a hay or a kuf touch the roof of the letter, dayush yigror. It's enough to remove the leg by itself, and go back and make it again. Answer go cool. You don't have to remove all of it. Came in shagag kidin nichtav ushnei gomim, because the roof was written properly and there are two components. They should only be attached by a slender thread to the long, above main part. If they're more than connected more than the shear, that the entire width of the yud is connected. And is puzzle. And the scratching is not going to work. Why is scratching not going to work? Because obviously the badibuk levad shizel chaktuchos you can't remove because that's going to chaktuchos to make the letter without writing it. You go use the top name. You got to remove the unim altogether and fix it. Basically, but you don't have to remove the long one. It's not made in one, so to speak, fell swoop. The Mishnah Berurah says that if the yud touches the body of the aleph and the yud, lower yud, you should erase the yud, and that's enough. If it's the upper yud, some say it's not to erase the yud, and some say you have to remove the entire aleph because everything which is written afterwards is to be possible. In other words, I guess we have to write the upper yud first. And chatchila should be machmer to remove everything which is made, which is possible after they touch appropriately, and you should write, and she writes even the lower leg of the aleph, but the evet tzarchin v'yesh lachmir b'zeh. Okay. In any event, he writes, it depends. He wants to say it depends on how you write the aleph. What the order of writing it is. The Arukh HaShulchan does not seem to care either way. So going on. If the foot of the cuff is straight, or sharios the pshutim arukim, or any other ones of the long straight letters magim b'sofa yiriyah, they reach the end of the parchment. Without having clefts around them. You can remove a little bit. It's not like chaktuchos in that situation. v'zesha b'dibuk os los mahani greira, and that which when you letters are connected to each other, you can scratch them separate. As letters themselves are not ruined. The letters themselves are ruined. Lo mahani rak greira skufos. You have to remove the bodies of the letters. Some say some people say where the connection between two letters is throughout the entire height of the letters, itaka doesn't work. You can't separate them. Then you have to remove the entire letter. Vein okay. The Arukh HaShulchan says that they don't have to do that. Mishabura says you should do it. You have to do a erase the letter. Just the pre-Chodesh is Meko. Arukh HaShulchan is also Meko. So if the foot of the hay was only a hairbreadth connected to the upper part, and the child could recognize still hay, you can just remove the part which is connected. The Mishnah Berurah says if it's here, Mishnah Berurah is more machmir, says you have to move the entire leg because it doesn't have the tzuras also, which is given to Moshe Sinai. And the Be'er Halacha writes the same thing, but he said b'shas chak. So just when he wrote a shame after that, and you can't go back and erase then, and it's known that the slight connection was done after the letter was completed properly, you can include the das of the smak, who holds that you can always be meko by scratching. Says v'tzarachim. And if you find it say v'tzar at the time you're laning, that the leg of the hair or the kuf touch. And a child can read them properly, you don't take another sefer out for this because it's a machlokes the poskim, and you should not be mabazah the sefer Torah. Back to Rosh Hashanah. If the small kotzin of the yud of the aleph are touching not sure what he's talking about. Mikotzin daken shel yudei aleph shenogin leislon ba. Okay, so he means that the coat, this very slight coats on the left side of the yud, right, which is very tiny coats at the bottom of the yud. That kutzil shel yud, if it touches the aleph, it's not a problem. The Be'er Halacha also writes only if the actual yud connects to the aleph, it's a problem, as opposed to the left oketz, then that's not considered to be a problem. Because even without the coats, it's called a yud. It's an integral part of the yud. Nevertheless, you should scratch it and not, you should scratch off that excess where it's touching the aleph, even though it does not ruin the letter. Back to Rosh Hashanah, Gavna, B'chol HaOsios, so to all the letters. There's down those brackets here, which is not relevant. Mem aleph. B'dvar HaKoras HaTinok Shel Osios Shenizbar, terms of a child recognized letters that we mentioned. Ira come upon me. It's happened several times. Shemar Latinok, you show it to a kid, Vaymer Kach. It says this. The second kid says differently. So it seems to me, says Arshon, we don't pay attention to the second one. But the first one says, that's it. The Lokim says not. I'm never going to be able to come to a clarity. Because just like there are different opinions among adults, so do by children, according to their opinions, the difference of opinion. And this is similar to Chazal said, even though it's a child, but it's like an 8 echad is believed like 2. But if you have 2 children who say the opposite of the first one, then you have to follow them. If he has many children, each one says his own opinion. You go after the majority. If it's 50-50, you go Chumrah. Keni Reli, but Ninin Elu, says Arukh HaShulchan, this is what it seems to him to be the case.